Hey, Samurai Carl here, making this video to go over some of the changes coming up in 6.0 and the current state of the game in 5.5. I wanted to go over Hyrum gear, how it's leveled, and gymming your gear and your options for different sets beyond Hyrum. So right now, from what the information that I've gathered and the patch notes that I've read, you're going to be able to get a starter set of Baby Hyrum. I don't know the name of the gear yet because they haven't translated it, but it's going to start at level 1. You'll get Synthesis gear that's a lot like Hyrum, and you'll get more infusions as you level up, and you'll be able to build your gear as you level. And as far as I know so far, they're going to implement the ability to awaken that gear into tier 1 Hyrum. The benefit to this is you can roll your stats early when you're leveling, so you can kind of flush out your gear before you even get to 50. That way, if you're stuck in Archer and you want all those Archer stats, you can make sure that you have them before you even start building into your in-game gear. Because with Hyrum, all the stats are rolled, and this is really the only RNG part of the game anymore, is getting the stats you need for the class that you're playing. So, with that being said, I kind of want to go over current Hyrum and how it's infused. So I have my alt here, and I have a couple pieces of Hyrum on her. These are all tier 1s. So, actually, this is a tier 2 sword, I'm sorry. I awakened this before, and it looks like it's celestial at this moment. Um, so for the Hyrum, it goes Hyrum, Radiant Hyrum, Brilliant, and Glorious are the 4 tiers. So this tier 2 is Radiant, and right now it's at Celestial. So I have a couple infusions that I opened. Most infusions that you will get from grinding and mobs and quests all require labor to identify. Right now, the green infusions require 25 labor to identify. And the blue higher level infusions that give you heroic to a celestial grade are about 40 labor to open. I don't know if this is going to change in 6.0, but as of current and 5.5, that's how the system works. And if you have the basic ones, they open up into green, blue, and arcane, or the 3 get. And there, I think that's 15 labor to open. Not sure. Let me make sure. This basic infusions, 20 labor. Sorry about that. So it's going to be 20 labor. Um, as that being said, if you enter these into the field here, you can either click on them by entering them into the field, or you can hit this auto list, and it should put the lowest grade in first. It's not going to put your highest grade ones in first, but since I don't really want to use the low grade, I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to put in these higher grade ones that I have, the heroics and my arcane. But okay, so right now I have 6 infusions in my field, and that's going to require 20 labor per item, so at a total of 120 labor to infuse this item with more XP. Right now, this total XP total I'm going to get from all of this is 3,000. If you put 6 fusions in the field, it's going to add the total XP cost. It's going to cost you 120 labor total if you have your fields full, and then the gold cost is calculated by the amount of XP that you put in the field. Right now, this is a pretty low amount of XP, so it's only 21 golds, which isn't bad. And this is a tier 2 item, and this is what you are mostly going to be starting out with your first couple days when you hit 50 and you're starting your ancestral level grind. Is you're going to be at tier 1 and tier 2 Hyrum. Tier 2 has the max grade of Divine. Tier 3's max grade is Epic. Tier 4's max grade is Mythic for the time being, but I'm hearing that it's going to go all the way up to Internal at tier 4. So a lot of questions that I hear is what happens when I awaken a weapon and it's gemmed. Well, the gems stay. So if you have a max stack of gems in your tier 2 weapon and you roll it over to tier 3, you'll keep all your gems. They're not going to delete. They're not going to deactivate. They're going to be in the weapon and use. So a couple things I wanted to go over about gemming gear is there's 2 different methods to gem gear. There's the crafted gems and the honor regraded gems. With the crafted gems, they're very expensive to make, but they are a very good long-term investment because they will last you pretty much your whole Archeage career, because you can unsocket them and resocket them into gear at a very high gold and labor cost, but it does um, really pay off in the long run to make those crafted gems. I think that's going to be a hard thing to do in Unchained in 6.0. So the second method, which is the honor regrading system, uh, is the easiest and cheapest way to get gems right away. And I would suggest this probably for your first build. That way you can, get PvP ready, be able to, farm effectively, and then build the probably crafted gems later on in the game. So right now I want to go over how the honor regrading works. So I'm going to have my weapon here, and I'm going to go ahead and socket weapon. So Luna Gem. Oh, actually I skipped a step. I actually have to unseal these, and I want to do Brawn, which is critical damage. So I'm going to select that option and unlock. Sure you want to unlock? Yes. And I'm going to go back to my Luna Gem, enter my sword and my gem. So at the very first socket, it's super cheap. It does cost 500 labor to socket. I don't know if this is going to change in 6.0. I have a very good feeling it's going to be the same. So if you go ahead and equip this, it's going to spend 500 labor and 11 gold and socket my first gem. So gems don't fail anymore like they did in the old system. They just cost more and more money to socket. So let me unwrap this one. Brawn. Okay. And then socket that for the second time. Wrong window. So here on the second attempt, it's still the same labor cost. It's still 500 labor, but it's almost double the gold. So it's 33. It's almost triple the gold, actually. It's 33 gold, 15 silver, and 46 copper. And it's still same labor cost, 500 labor. So I'm going to equip that gem. And there we go. I'm gemmed twice. So I don't have any more honor to buy gems, so I don't have any more gems to put in here, but the cost is going to go up significantly as you go along. I think in my main character, my last gem slot after I hit Mythic cost me about 1,400 gold, so it was a decent amount. Good thing is they don't fail, and as long as they're in there, they're in there. They're not going to go anywhere. And that includes when you upgrade your gear or awaken it. So if you have library gear and you awaken it tier 2, it's going to stay in. Same with Hyrum, same with Aranor when it's awakened to the next tiers. So I am going to buy the regrade stone here. I just need a little bit of honor because I'm kind of broke. I don't really do a lot of honor dailies on this guy. So I'm going to buy the first stone right here, Luna Charm rank 1, and purchase. So do take note that if you buy these regrade stones, that they are bound to you. You can't trade them. So it's going to have to be your honor that you earn. You can't buy these from somebody who has an excess amount of honor. Good news is you can buy the tier 1 gems from people. They are tradable at this moment. So if you're one of those people who has a ton of honor to sit on and you want to sell gems, that's definitely something you can do. So let's get back to regrading this gem. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on this. It's going to ask me what piece of gear am I going to try to regrade. And it's going to put right here. So if you could see this, I have one. If I had 2 of these charms, I could regrade both of them to tier 1. And I'm going to select this one. It's going to cost me 200 labor. So this method is very labor intensive, but it's very cheap on the gold side of things. And I could regrade this to tier 1. And that'll give me 3.3% melee from 2.8. So it's a slight improvement each regrade that you go. This does not fail. As soon as you hit this, it's going to go. It's 100% success. It doesn't have a chance to break your gems or do anything to them. So it's a very safe way of upgrading your gems that are already socketed at tier 1. So the one thing I do want to go over, since I have this up here, is go to the folio, find this material here, put in this Luna Charm rank 1. So right here are the different ranks here in your folio. I use this tool. The folio is awesome for finding out, what you need to craft what. You can just click this material thing and say, hey, what's this for? And it'll pop up everything that's used in crafting. It's a great tool. But right now I want to go over the Luna Charm ranks and what they cost. So they don't cost any proficiency. They just require a handicraft kiln to upgrade. So this is a very good way, I think, to upgrade your handicraft skill as well. So when you do get your stuff fully gemmed using the honor regrade method, you'll have some proficiency towards that, and you can build the higher, crafted gems that you will have for the long term. So to get a tier 2 charm, which is what you need to make it, to the next tier, you have to have 2 of the Luna Charm rank 1s from the honor shop and 3 superior glue lunarite. And then if you want rank 3, it's 3 of the charms and 5 lunarite, and so on and so forth. So the ranks are going to go up, and for each time you plus it, it's going to require one of these new upgraded Luna charms. And that's how you regrade your gems, starting at tier 1 using the honor regrade system. Is you buy the Luna charms and upgrade them through crafting, and then you regrade each gem. It's a bit tedious, but it's going to save you a bit of gold, and it's going to get that gear gemmed up pretty quickly. And you should be able to effectively PvP if you get your resilience and toughness gems in early. So with that, that's all I have on the gems for now. And again, those do not break when you regrade them. And every time you, with the new gemming system, either honor regrading or the crafted tier 3s, they are 100% chance to socket. They just cost more and more gold as you put in more and more gems. So the other thing that I wanted to go over, and I'm going to switch to my other character, is the different armor that you can get. So right now I've been just kind of going over Hyrum. I think that's what most people are going to be in, is Hyrum gear. But there are options from Abyssal Library. So I have a couple of Abyssal Library pieces here. And this is all synthesis gear. But Abyssal Library is a bit different than your Hyrum gear. You can't use infusions that you get from daily quests to level this. To level this gear, you're going to have to run dungeons. And what I mean by that is every time that you get a piece of gear, you're going to use it to roll into your existing piece of gear to upgrade it. So the benefit to that is you don't have to do a bunch of dailies. If you're tired of doing dailies and I want to make another set of gear, I'm going to go do Abyssal Library. You can make this gear pretty easily. So a lot of people right now in 5.5 will intermix this gear. So they'll get 3 pieces of library to have a set bonus, because this cost set bonus for heals. The 3-piece is increases max health and adds up additional max HP. So the set bonuses are okay. The gear is about the same as Hyrum now that they have library rank 2. So you can awaken your library gear into rank 2. And again, this is all gear that you farm through Abyssal Library, Mist Song, Serpentis, and any of the greater dungeons. All that gear rolls into this gear. I would note that if you're planning on making Abyssal Library gear, that it is very expensive to synthesize. So right here, if I put all this in, it's fairly cheap because it's lower level. But when you get it to tier 2 and you're trying to roll it to mythic, it's going to cost you about 20,000 gold per piece to synthesize it. It's going to be very expensive. If you have a very good gold making method, this gear is very easy to get because it doesn't require a lot of pieces from Missong or from Abyssal to level them. So you don't have to farm too much. But if you're able to farm gold very efficiently and you want to supplement and not farm Hyrum, because Hyrum can be very grindy because you have to do your dailies every day and go out there and grind mobs. So it's just an alternative to Hyrum. The benefits to it, it does have the set bonuses, and it is fairly easy to obtain. It's just very expensive to regrade and synthesize up. So the third and final gear I want to go over is IAD, and I actually do not have any IAD or Aranor gear. So right now, the best crafted gear that you can make is IAD and Aranor. And Aranor is the piece that you're going to feed, and you're going to feed it with IAD gear that you regrade. So the regrade system still exists in Archeage, so you can regrade your gear, and you can make crafted gear. You can craft your Delphinads up to IAD and regrade them as far as you can go. It's actually really easy to get to Epic. It is a bit more challenging to get to Legendary and Mythic and Eternal. And with that being said, how Aranor works right now is you feed IAD gear of the grade of the gear that you're leveling. So if you have an Epic Aranor piece, you have to feed it Epic, IAD, or higher. Or you can feed it other Aranor pieces that are the same quality or higher. So if you feed an Epic piece more gear, and you can actually overload your feeding methods where you feed it 2 or 3 legendaries and actually get it from Epic to Mythic if you feed it enough pieces of gear. I'm not really sure on the amount that it requires, but if you're able to roll higher grade pieces into lower grade, you can actually skip grades. You can skip like legendary, and then you're only really stuck getting Mythic pieces. But I think most people try to avoid being stuck at Mythic, so they'll get it to Legendary because it's easier, and they'll feed it enough pieces to get it to Eternal without, going through feeding it smaller pieces. So wrap it up here. There are 3 major methods to gear your character in 5.5, and then most likely going into 6.0. There is the Hyrum route, which is going to be for most people who want to level pretty efficiently early on. And then there is a library gear, which can be supplemented with Hyrum and intermatched. And there's Aranor gear, which is a little bit more expensive and harder to craft, but when you do, it is best in slot gear. And hoping to see a lot of you out playing Unchained, and I'm going to be streaming it. I've currently been streaming Legacy 5.5 patches and from 5.0 up in the last couple months. So I'm going to have my Discord links below in the description and my Twitch there as well. And if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, that link will be there for you as well. So nice having a conversation with y'all. Have a good one.